I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Excited. I got your brother on my chat. I'm like, oh, snap, nice.
Oh yeah, I saw Renner. He was like putting in some good word for me, I think.
That's good. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay, so I am also streaming, so I will be just putting everything also on my stream. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
That's fine. But you can share the screen here on Discord, and then that will.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. That's
yes,
that's
sure, sure.
completely fine. Yeah.
If it like bugs out or something, just tell me. I can just, I mean, I will most likely then just turn off my stream. Shouldn't be a problem, and send the people over to you if it bugs out. But
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Hopefully it doesn't, because I know it happened to Petty Feather. I don't, for some reason he started doing this and it got messed up. Let me actually capture that. I'll go to the right side and give me 1 second. Well, guys, you guys know. Do I have any other moderator that can give him a shout out, guys? We're gonna have a Pistoleer right now, one of the best Pistoleer in the world. They don't like to say that because people get mad, offended, but it is what it is. And there you go. You can make sure to follow him. You know what I'm saying? And here we go. The floor is yours, copy.
okay, thank you, thank you. First of all, yeah, I appreciate it that you invited me to this. I never had like this kind of let's say like attraction. I was like, I'm a small streamer, I appreciate everyone that's watching me and supports me, but I never thought I would get this far playing this class, especially, So thank you for that.
Ask in the chat,
Uh,
guys.
so yeah, basically, I have been playing Deadeye since let me turn off my alerts. I have been playing Deadeye Pistoleer basically since release of the game. I played it when there wasn't even a single guide on max roll, which was a little bit sad, but I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot, and I liked it a lot. Obviously, after the changes, after the rework, it became a really good class in my eyes. So I was happy that I chose this path, and yeah, and further on they like updated the class even more. I got a new skill and the class engraving got buffed, so it became really good. Yeah, and with arc passive, obviously I like it even more.
I'm glad you stick to it too, bro. No, there's not that many Pistoleers, right? Everybody goes with the meta. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I like when people obviously adapt to the meta a little bit here and there, but if you started playing it, and you like the game like you played it back in the day, and you keep playing it like that, I think it's a really good choice you can make.
agree.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go like the list that you sent me, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna start off with, well, actually, let me first of all show my character here, so I can flex a little bit with my character. Yeah. Um,
Eee.
just
Yeah.
like right after you asked me, I think some days later I hit my 25 weapon. I mean, I can do like quickly like an exclamation mark 25 so you guys can see. I was really,
Yeah.
really, really lucky. I'm not a whale. I mean, I'm like maybe 900 euros in this game since release, so like in
Not
two and a
bad.
half years, right? So I was very lucky with this, and as you guys can see, I mean, you can guess which weapon level I have. I have a 25 weapon, guys. Haha, funny one. I have I have the smallest gun in the game, actually.
The most expensive weapon and the smallest weapon.
So yeah, I have
Yeah,
to live with this one, but hey, listen, I knew what was
yeah.
coming, so it is what it is. Uh, unlucky. So yeah,
That's funny,
all right. So this is my character, and yeah, let's go over the evolution first of all.
That's pretty good.
So okay, yeah, I wanted to ask you this. Do you want me like to give you quickly like a pro and con about this class, or do you want me just to explain right now the whole tree, the arc passive?
However you feel like you can do the topics, and then at the end, if you want to like input about the class and stuff, then you can do that.
All right. Okay. Perfect. So for this class, it's very easy. I mean, the core damage of this class is if you crit and while hitting the boss and you see a white number, you will get depression.
Mhm.
So mainly you will put your points into spec and then the rest into crit. Specialization gives you crit damage on this class, and if you look at your character profile, you will basically be at like 400% crit damage. Now, obviously, because of this whole interview, I was curious and actually calculated if there is like a fall off, because there is like on Reddit and just in general like this topic where crit damage falls off at some point. I personally didn't experience it yet. I was testing all the engravings, like even like I tried Keen Blunt, I tried Swift and all that, and I was losing damage. So I think this is like a perfect build for now. So yeah, and then on the next step here, you will go yeah, and now the funny part starts. You will go Keen Sense 2 points, 1 point in Limit Break. And the third part here, you will go 1 point into Zealous Smite and 1 point into Distraction Charger. And then the last row is just Standing Striker. Now, this is only the case if you don't have a crit synergy in your party.
Mm.
As I said, this class requires you to crit.
Yes.
If you don't crit, you are not going to do damage. So
100%.
what is the main idea? You want to have like, I think minimum of 92 to 95%, like 95% crit rate is like the best you can have. It's like optimized. Obviously, if you have a crit synergy in your party, I know other than you, obviously,
Right.
what you can do is like adapt very easily. Like you can just take these points from Keen Sense and put them here on Limit
More
Break.
damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is for like a short fight, right? Or if you feel like it, you can also put them in optimized training. This is 10% less damage than Limit Break, but you get 8% more cooldown, which is really good on this class since it's very spammy.
Yep.
Okay, let's say you put them in Limit Break. I always recommend optimized training if the fight is really long. So in E-Gear Gate 2, for example, it's a really nice one. Or maybe in Brel also it will be a good one. I don't know yet. And if you have another crit synergy, yeah, if you have like a 3 crit synergy party, which is really rare, but it can happen, you remove the Zealous Smite here and you put it on Distraction Charger. And this build basically here, this is like, in my opinion, like the highest damage burst kind of you can build. If you have 2 crit synergies in your party, but it's gonna be really rare, and obviously the other 2 crit synergies, they will most likely not benefit if they have crit synergies. It's also like, something you need to take care of. Obviously, if they don't care, or if it's like 1640s that you are carrying, you like it.
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, there is a lot of like stuff you can just test, or you can basically adapt to. Yeah, like you're not really forced to do anything except the first and last row. That's like always the same. You don't gain any damage from like MP Furnace, since your highest damage skill is gonna be your Z skill and your T skill. Well, for me it's Y, German keyboard. But yeah, that's about it in this like evolution tree. Going further to Enlightenment. On Enlightenment here, you will go obviously Pistoleer, then you will go on with Fancy Footwork. These two with handgun enhancement here, they are basically the old engraving that we had. The Pistoleer engraving, what it does is it gives you damage on your handgun skills, so everything with pistol, and it locks out the 2 other weapons that you have. Additionally, what was added, like I think 1.5 years ago, was basically the spacebar. When you spacebar, you gain a buff here, and your weapons glow. You gain an attack speed, movement speed, and cooldown buff, which is obviously I'm going to explain it in the rotation later how you play it, but which is also really good. Then the points on 1680, you will put them on a secret weapon, and you will put them on quick draw. You can also adapt here, yeah, as I said, depending on how many crit synergies you have, depending on how your books are looking on the relic books, and how your stone is looking, you will be adapting. Like you can put obviously 1 point only in quick draw and 1 point in shining bullet. That also works. It's basically the same, just if you're over critting, obviously you would lose damage if you had the crit percentage, right? So
Because of the
it's
diminished
all,
return.
yeah, it's all basically how you adapt, you know, to the whole situation in the lobby, which is a really good advantage. But again, I will go later to the pros and cons, and I will mention it. And on the leap tree, this one is very nice because I don't know if people remember when we got 1640 and we had the hyper awakening in T skill, a lot of people were running out of mana. And this happens with Deadeye as well, which is really rare. It was like a shocker for me. Running out of mana was never a choice.
Right.
In this class, the main points you will be putting in your T skill, so your hyper awakening technique. You will put 5 points in the damage and then 4 points into the cooldown, and you want to put the rest into the instant spell because of the mana cost, yeah, and obviously it's attack speed. Once we get the bracelets, it's very easy here, you know, since it's only pistols you're playing, you can
Right.
choose between these two. I was looking into them in Trixie, and you can test them. I mean, I can show you guys this one. It's like a Naruto walk, or it's like a, you know, quick T skill basically.
Oh yeah,
Let
I
me
seen
say.
the Naruto walk. I think Saint used that one. I believe.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was looking at his gameplay too. I was really happy when I saw it. So it's really nice, and
Yeah. I was trying to
uh,
figure out how the hell he got that skill. So it's based on the bracelet, huh? Interesting.
yeah. Wait, let me
It
show you
was mad cool.
here. Okay, so let's summon real quick a scarecrow. Boom. Actually, wait, let me show you how it looked before for people that don't know. So the T skill is basically a holding skill, and then you shoot 6 times. Yeah. This skill is like, I would say, really insane skill. It does a lot of damage. Obviously, as you can see, it's paralysis immunity, which is nice. And yeah, the stagger is also good, but I never use it for stagger. Obviously, we greed damage, guys. And if you tap it, it will be just, you know, quick 4 shots. So in case, you know, it's a dangerous situation, you can always let go of the skill really quick, you know, if you're holding and then oops, you know, the boss is like hitting you almost, you know, you can like hold it and spacebar out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and now let me show you the advanced version of this one. So there's two versions of this. You can take the Quickstorm one. Quickstorm basically gives you more damage and removes the holding, so you can just tap it and it will immediately shoot 6 shots.
Damn.
Now, I would say this one is again a personal choice. There's a lot of personal choices in this character, in my opinion at least, because it all depends on your playstyle.
Right.
It all depends on if you want to, you know, perma back attack the boss, if you want to, you know, play it safe or something like that, right? So if I do this one here, I don't have to hold it. So the whole time that I would hold it is basically gone, and I just immediately shoot it. Other than that, you can just take the other one. The other one is with the walking, and it does 5% more damage. It also gives you another buff, which is the movement skill reduction. It can be useful. Let me show you how it looks real quick. So you hold it, right, and nothing is happening. You cannot see, like, I'm not walking, and you would be like, what the fuck? But you have to hold it and then click, and then you start walking. Yeah, so this one was really confusing for me. I thought it was bugged. I was really sad at first, right? So yeah, so this one is really, it looks really sick, and
That's nice, man. Yeah, that's cool. Wait, so it does a little bit more damage?
yes, it does more damage than the other one. The other one basically does well, let me see. It was 65% more damage, and this one gives you 70% more damage.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a 5% damage difference.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you look at like the guides in the internet and all that stuff, and if you test yourself, you will notice like damage is almost the same.
Right.
It's obviously just 5%, but it depends on how you play it. Like if you miss one shot, it's already a huge difference. If you don't crit one, it's a huge difference, right?
Right. There's a lot of
Yeah,
variables. Yeah.
exactly. And yeah, that's about it basically. Yeah. So you have a lot of choices here, I would say, from evolution up until leap. You can adapt to a lot of the stuff. You know, it's all depending on the rate, on the teammates you have. And if you are someone who doesn't really want to do that, I would just recommend go with the basic. You know, if you don't care, you know, if you're over critting and you don't care, it is what it is, right? You can just go this. At least you're 100% crit, right? Even though you are losing like 10% damage.
Right. Yeah, the reason why
All
he
right.
say that, guys, for if you guys don't know, the reason why he's saying that is because of the diminishing returns, right? So if you need 100% because it's 100% right now. If you got a 110%, well, you're losing 10% somewhere else. Instead of using that 10% in somewhere, you can use it on more damage, right? Make sense?
Yeah. To the skills and tripods. I will show you right now how it looks when you play it on 1680 plus.
Yes.
After that, I can show you how you would play it if you are 1660 or higher, or even like with 16 like 40s or less. I can show you because there is like a little bit of a difference.
Mm.
Now on the class engraving, where can I see it? Wait. Okay, wait. I'm confused. Here. So, on the class engraving, yeah, our class engraving is very simple to understand. You get damage on your pistol skills, on your ult, and you get stagger. And additionally, if you use your spacebar, as I told you, you get the 8% attack speed, movement speed, and skill cooldown. Now, if you go further here, you see you get like cooldown on hit on your movement skill. You know, since our spacebar is like a self buff that you try to keep up as much as you want, we get this fancy footwork here, which is an on hit cooldown reduction. So what do we want to do? We want to put like maybe one or two skills that gives us on hits. For this one, I have put the spiral tracker here. Spiral tracker obviously was like an old school ability I used to run, and it was everywhere basically. Yeah? I mean, Lost Ark Nexus didn't exist, but we had Max Roll, for example, and there they were all like recommending this skill, and it's like a semi good stagger skill, on hit skill. You know, if you want to free people,
Oh yeah.
and you know, it was really good. But when the Pistoleer changes came, with for example here Desperado came in, there
Right.
was a little bit of a change. People used to run a raid captain, and then they said, yo, if you want to run raid captain, you need to play spiral tracker and put in the quick pace. With this one, basically you were having like maximum efficiency of raid captain, which was on paper more damage. I personally didn't like it. I tested it here and there, like maybe 3 raids I did with it, but I was not feeling it. I was not a fan of it. If I'm honest, I changed it back. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing to do. It's a personal thing, but I didn't like it at all. So on 1680 plus, basically what you want to do here is you want to keep up on hit on the boss, at the same time do damage. So while you're space barring, doing your skills here, okay, wait, I need to quickly put this one on standard again, so you can see, like here you can see I have 2 charges of my space bar, and it's ticking down. I think it's 8 seconds. And once I hit the boss, you can see it's a little bit going faster. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see I get it back way faster. Yeah,
Oh.
it's really good in raids. It's also really good to keep up the buff. Yeah, I would say like around 80 to 90% of the time you have the buff while using your main damage skills. I recommend obviously 100% of the time, but you know, not everyone is perfect. So for this one, we take Spiral Tracker. This is the best skill basically to help you get your spacebar back. The tripods are very easy, just the attack
Big.
speed one. So, you know, you throw it out fast, you cast it fast, and there was the option of taking the synergy as well. Since you're a crit synergy class, you can put the synergy here as well. But I don't recommend it because you want to cast the ability really fast and you have 3 stacks of it. So most of the time you're casting like one spiral tracker, a ability, and another spiral tracker. So I just would go with Swift Fingers. Insight is not even a choice here because you are just hugging the boss anyways. Going further here, I would recommend to take outgoing damage for third attack. I mean, this skill does a little bit of damage. I wouldn't disrespect the damage here. The other like tripods here, I would say they're relatively useless. This one is the movement speed one. You would play this only if you played Raid Captain. But later on, I will explain when we are on the engravings how you actually play it out. And then lastly, you take the heavy duty for the stacks. Yeah, very easy since you want as much spiral tracker as possible. The grenades, that's your main synergy. This ability you will be casting like 24/7. Yeah, this is basically like the most important tripod here. The weakness, exposure, your synergy. That's it. The rest here is basically for the damage. Enhanced grenade damage. The other ones, this one just puts cooldown on it, does less damage. I mean, this is like PvP tripod you would take, and this one is like for Chaos Dungeon, if anything. And then this one is like a 3-second delay explosion. So also an ability that does a little bit of damage. So don't disrespect it, but you are casting it 24/7 anyways, since you want to crit yourself. You know, you shouldn't forget it. Yeah, I will go over the runes afterwards. Yeah, if it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. The counter here, the counter is a funny one because it has no points in it. Now this one for some people might be weird since they are used to, or if you play Pistoleer, you are not really used to having 0 points in it. Back in the day, it was like 7 points or 4 points at least, where you could choose either the vital point or swift conviction. This makes the counter faster, and this one you just took for a little bit more damage. But if you didn't like the swift conviction,
Can I see how
and
it
then
looks right now without it?
yeah, sure. Let me do this one real quick. So without it, it's basically like this. You'd like an uppercut. Put here cooldowns. you would go like this, and you see like how I do this uppercut with my leg. That's basically like the counter right there. Yeah, you can press it again since it's a combo ability, and you shoot in the air, but it doesn't really do anything. It's just a little bit of damage. Yeah, so you would just tap it once, and that's it. Now, as I said, you would usually back in the day play with 4 points and put in like vital pointed or swift conviction. Swift conviction would make the ability look like this. That's it. Like it's a little bit faster. And it's still obviously the combo here.
Okay,
but again,
yeah. That's. I think that's what I use. Weird, but yeah, I'm gonna fix a lot of things.
yeah, and then you can put a little bit. Let me show you. You could put more points in, and then back in the day, like really old school, would have been with the tenacity here. Yeah, when we didn't have 14 points, you would run tenacity on it. Again, the tripod makes it really fast, but having tenacity on this was really nice. Yellow abilities, can't push you, or anything that pushes you can't push you anymore. So it's really helpful. But if you're going for damage, obviously you're gonna remove these points and put them on your synergy here, and then obviously something else, right? You want to have like 14. So now our main damage skill, Desperado.
Yeah.
So this skill, I would say it's like a baby still because it was implemented in this game not so long ago. We got like a huge rework, and this ability is your main damage skill, I would say. It's really good. It's really satisfying. Let me show you real quick how it looks. As you can see, my character goes in the air, turns into a helicopter and starts shooting, and it follows your mouse. Yeah, so wherever I go, for some people, I would just recommend doing like little circles around your character here, so you stay where you want to stay. Otherwise, you can just helicopter into the boss. You know, it's like a wall. You just hit the boss and that's it. On the tripods itself, it's like a no-brainer on this one. You go bullet time, so you shoot faster. The extra roll here, I would say, is a little bit of a personal preference because let me show you real quick how it looks. You do like the roll here, and then you do this one, yeah.
What?
But I don't know, it just doesn't feel right on the die,
Yeah.
especially having this space bar. It looks very clunky. So I never really went with this one. I tested it out, obviously, but it just looks weird and doesn't feel good. On the second row here, you take armor-piercing bullets. As you can see, once you crit, you do even more damage than before. The other points here, I would say there are like this one is obviously for Chaos Dungeon, and then this one changed it to holding mode. I don't like holding skills that much, so I don't recommend this. Just go armor piercing bullet, very easy. And here on the bottom row, also a no-brainer. You just go with style change, more damage, faster, and you have 2 stacks of it. Very insane, yeah, very insane, since it's your highest damage skill. Okay. Quick Shot. Quick Shot is a combo ability. On this class, since you want always to cast your abilities really fast and spam it, almost all of these abilities are gonna have like this tripod here, the Swift Fingers. You will always go that. These other points here, they are most of the time either PvP or some kind of like delay in the combo. So here you go, Swift Fingers, Initiate Shot, which is making this ability do actually damage. I can show you real quick how it looks. If you look at the boss's HP real quick, you see I will apply a debuff, the Initiate Shot, which makes this ability do damage, as you can see, like 134. And then if I remove this tripod and take something else, I will basically lose all my damage.
Mm.
Like
Oh, it's not there, yeah.
So it's like basically your damage from this ability just comes from this
On that
tripod
tripod.
itself. Yeah. And then here on the last row, you take Final Light for another like super damage, 780% more damage. And this one just makes it a chain attack like 3. Again, this one is a PvP one, and this one is the main
Yeah.
damage one. Yeah. So these together basically make this ability actually valuable. Further on, we have Equilibrium. Yeah, as I told you, we go with the attack speed one here. You can take, if you want, the crit synergy one, but losing the attack speed for it, I don't think is good. And especially later on, when, as you can see, I'm playing mass increase. I will go later on that topic as well. But you want to like cast your abilities fast. You really don't like being in animation locks. Especially like as I showed you, Desperado, you are in the air spinning, so it's really dangerous for you. Any other skill that puts you in an animation, you want them to be basically finished as soon as possible. And here you take decimating shot, also just damage and increased range. These other ones, this one is like a turn for Chaos Dungeon. This one is like less damage if you look at it, but that's about it. Here on this bottom part, this one was really interesting for me because not long ago I changed the burn effect to the vital point shot. The vital point shot here gives you basically damage, and if you crit, it ignores 50% of the boss's damage, and which means basically more damage. But the burn effect, on the other hand, it does. Let me show you. This one does 40% damage and 50% reduction, and this one gives you 70% more damage and applies a burn. Now, this burn, if you look on paper, is solid damage. but for some reason in some raids I noticed I do more damage when I take this tripod, so I just stick with it. I recommend going burn effect if you're, for example, going into Echidna Gate 2. If the supporters, forgot flame grenade, you can use this skill if it's up on the wall. It works. This is really good. And other than that, I would say that vital point shot only loses value if you have a class in your party that does also defense reduction. Because obviously at some point it falls off. Like I think it is Reaper, the only class that comes to my mind right
Reaper
now that does it.
and the hammer, right? The destroyers.
Destroyer. Okay, yeah. So maybe then it falls off, but so far on let's say certain Bibles, I saw that this one definitely wins the duel.
Mm.
Cruel Tracker here. Now, Cruel Tracker is a funny ability. Yeah. Now you look at Cruel Tracker and you see weak point, stagger. It's a back attack and paralysis immunity. So again, you take Swift Fingers here for the attack speed, rapid fire enhancement, so you shoot even more and it does more damage. This one is basically increasing your crit rate, which you don't need, you're over critting otherwise. And this one increases the angle of it, but also really waste. And the bottom part here, you take the quick draw, it makes it a combo skill. And this one is really important because I will show you. Oh, well, actually, I cannot show you until I'm in a raid, but I can tell you. What it does is, so let's pretend I don't have the tripod. It would look like this. Yeah, I shoot like a little cone in front of me, and then I shoot at the end one more time, right? But since I make it a combo, I shoot twice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what a lot of people didn't know, I think, and what it doesn't say is, it is a distraction skill, and the last shot here that I do twice, both of them are distraction. So even though it says it's a level 1 weak point, I don't know quite exactly the math, but I would say it's level 2 since you're applying it twice. So you see, like when you shoot, for example, in Get 1 Theamine, when you're shooting the tentacles, if you are bussing it, or if you are, having Alzheimer's like me sometimes and forget the distraction bomb, you
Yeah.
can just simply use this ability on the tentacles
And
and
then
GG. They are destroyed. That's it.
nice.
Like
Okay,
one
so
ability.
it's two hits instead of one.
Exactly. So this one I would say came out always on top in my mind. Like it was always useful. Almost all raids I played needed a little bit of distraction, so it was really good. The explosive bullet one, it looks a bit clunky, but uh, it does also solid damage. Let me show you how it looks real quick. So you see, like we go a little bit
Yeah.
further. I shoot like
Oh
a
wow.
rocket with, right? I mean, you can see like my damage. Basically, the cone that I'm doing here, this damage stays the same, and this cone, this rocket at the end does like 76 million. Let's say 76 million. And then if you change this one to quick draw, you can see like the other shots that I do, they do like 43. So you can just calculate, right? 40
Right.
times 2 is 80. So you can see already, GG, I do more damage with this one. Um,
I know. Yeah, you gotta know your thing. That's good. That's the guy for it.
Then obviously the T skill I showed. Well, the secret weapon, if everyone is like living under rock and hasn't seen the Saint clip yet, but you shoot like from a shotgun without a glow, sadly.
Damn.
It's huge damage. It's basically, once you reach 1680, a giga upgrade. It's really good. Obviously, it's from the Arc passive.
It's really strong. That skill.
Yeah, it's very strong. Yeah, and
Interesting.
once you get the third point here, it's crazy strong. As you can see, from 100%
To
damage,
two
it goes to
hundred percent.
200. So
Jesus, that's double
it's
damage.
it's very insane. And
Oh.
obviously, all I can say, like all I can refer to is the meter. Obviously, who isn't using it, but otherwise, I cannot really tell you how much exactly it does. But this skill is basically in the top 3, yeah, always, no matter what you do.
It consumes mana?
No, it doesn't cost mana. It has 40 seconds cooldown, and now this is the tricky part here. As you can see, let me quickly remove the cooldowns here. I cast it, 40 seconds cooldown, right?
All right.
Now you would say, okay, every like 40 seconds, bruh. But our class engraving, guys, comes back here
It
again,
resets,
and
right?
it gives us basically when you use a skill, you get half a second cooldown reduction. And now
Eso,
everything adds up, right? Like
yeah.
I have 2 stacks here, I have 3 stacks on my spiral tracker.
Oh, wow.
Boom. So I'm spamming here the skills basically, and this cooldown is going down basically, like I would say, maybe 50% faster. So it's like technically like 20 seconds cooldown, right? So this skill is really good, really satisfying. Unlucky that it has no glow and it's fast because you don't really see the shotgun itself, But yeah, it's really good damage.
Damn, what the hell?
Crazy. Now to the runes. This one is gonna be a little bit special. So, I am playing. Obviously, as I told you, you want to spam every ability as fast as you can, right? So it's a no-brainer to go Galewind on certain abilities. Meteor Stream, it's one of the slower abilities. So Golden Galewind tier. On the grenade, you can play Bleed, or if you want, you can play the Poison Rune. Doesn't really matter. It's both the same. It's really effective on this ability as well, since you are perma applying it, and you have the tripod with the ignition at the end, which the explosion, does the bleeding again. Then you have the counter. I would just put quick recharge on it. Most of the time, you spam it, or if you have everything on cooldown and you hit like a wall, you would just use it. It is what it is. Desperado skill here. Now this is the interesting part. I'm playing this one with conviction and the judgment on my equilibrium.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Then. I was gonna
Yeah,
ask you that, but that's good.
this one is a little bit different than usual, I would say. Most people probably have seen the other version where it's recommended that you just go Galewind all the way,
Right.
like all skills Galewind. And I think there was like, I don't even know what other rune there was, but you probably like overwhelm on Meteor Stream or something like that, right? But this conviction judgment combination on the Desperado and Equilibrium is very nice and very satisfying.
Yes, that's
On
how
this,
that's how I play.
yeah, on this class, if you don't know how conviction judgment works, I can quickly explain. You cast the ability with conviction first. It has a 30% chance to give you a buff, which activates on your skill hit. Yeah, as you can see, for 3 seconds, when your skill is hitting, there is a 40% chance that you get conviction to yourself. Now, it's really important on this class that it says hits, because I have it on Desperado. It does a lot of hits. As you can see, let me see, does it even say how much it does? Okay, it doesn't really say how much, but I think it's like a lot, like maybe 12 hits or something like that. So it's almost guaranteed to always trigger
Get the
the conviction.
conviction.
Yeah, and if you don't, then you should never play, anything with Gamba. You are a really unlucky person then. And yeah, the judgment is basically the follow-up. Once you have the conviction buff, you want to trigger the judgment buff, which is also a 40% to trigger on hit. And it gives you a buff basically, which is a combat resource recovery, aka it's for this class it's mana recovery, and it gives you skill cooldown, right? And the Desperado Equilibrium combo basically makes it, in my opinion, like 99% guaranteed trigger. Yeah, so this
Yeah.
is like always gonna trigger when it's up. And in the rotation part, I will explain you how you play it out. But yeah, this is like one thing you can do. Otherwise, if you don't like playing Conviction Judgment for some reason, you can just put the Galewind rune on the Desperado here, and same as Equilibrium, and then just put on Meteor Stream whatever you feel like. You can put Overwhelm Room on it because it's a
Just
big stagger
stagger,
skill. Yeah. Or you can put purify on your counter and then the quick recharge on something else, right? On like quick shot and then put this rune somewhere else. Basically like this. Yeah, it's all about what you prioritize. On the cruel tracker, also just Galewind, as I said, it's whatever. Galewind. Very, very simple, To the engravings, there's multiple choices you can do. Right now, I can quickly show how my setup looks like. Oh, let me quickly just go out of the training ground so I can show you properly how it looks. So I am having Grudge, Precise Dagger, Cursed Mass Increase, Adrenaline. There is an option of changing the Cursed Doll to Stabilize Status.
Yeah, almost every class can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people now tried going Stabilize Status. Obviously, it is a cheaper engraving to go, and rarely. I mean, they nerfed it. They buffed it technically, so the HP now is at 65% or above, and then you get the buff, right?
That's pretty
So
good.
yeah, it's pretty good. It's like decent, I would say, if you look at the market price as well. I don't know how the prices are in the other like servers or regions, but stabilized status is definitely one of the cheaper ones, or So if you want to go the relic books on this one, you can do it. But I recommend going Crystal instead because I actually learned this one from one of your videos when you did the interview with Fancy. Shout out to her.
Nice, nice, nice.
I totally forgot that a curse doll buffs basically also your poison and your bleed, uh, and obviously your ult, right? Yeah, I can show you again. Stabilize status. What does it do? It does
Yeah.
like damage increase, right? Obviously it's ult too, but it doesn't buff your poison, I think. So the other choices are also very easy. The adrenaline precise dagger, that's basically a go-to. You always go these, and grudge obviously too, unless you're LL stylish, then you go not grudge. But yeah, the adrenaline and precise dagger, they are your main sources of crit. Don't forget you need to crit to do damage.
Yeah.
And then the last choice is the mass increase. Mass increase gives you a debuff of minus 10% attack speed. This debuff is basically removed if you are having a feast plus
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
wine, right? Which I will always recommend for anyone that plays mass increase. Play with the pay to wine, very cheap. You can buy it in masses nowadays, so it's really good. There
Oh,
was
oh, you can
yeah.
use the wine on the food. They stack.
Yeah, this one, this one is like buff food, and then you can have buff food and feast at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the one that you make in Stronghold, right? So these two stack basically, and if I'm not mistaken, the Stronghold one gives you
10%.
5%, right? And this one gives you 3%, so you're at 8%, right? So
Oh
you would say,
yeah.
aha, still minus 2%, right? But really important, you have your space bar. Your own
Right,
class
right.
engraving is giving you buffs as well. So this whole negative part of the mass
It
increase, you
neglects
can
the
just
yeah.
yeah, it's fully neglected. You can ignore it, and it's basically not there. So it's free damage, free. Yeah, in my case, 16% damage. Um, Thoughts on propulsion? Yeah, propulsion was something.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Good
that
question.
yeah, it was something that people used to go as like a cheap way out. In the old engravings, it was
Right.
a bit tough going these engravings with spec, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me quickly explain what propulsion does. Propulsion is basically a damage buff you gain after you used
The
movement
space bar.
skill, your spacebar. Yeah. So this one is obviously something that comes to mind when you think about Pistoleer, because Pistoleer has a short spacebar which you are spamming to gain your own buff. So you would think this one is really good, or like a good replacement of one of the engravings. Uh, if you look at the damage and if you calculate it, it is basically, I think it adds up to the same damage, if I'm not mistaken. Let me quickly see. 11%, 14, 17. Oh, never mind, actually. Or, wait. 10, 7.
What is it, like a 1% more damage?
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Oh no, guys. I got bamboozled by the question.
Yeah, I see some people playing propulsion, but you gotta keep up the speed all the time to be super efficient. Even though you want to keep the speed all the time to be efficient, but
Wait, let me check my notes real quick. Oh, I have it right here. Never mind. Yeah, basically what I wrote down here on the propulsion one, basically is that the spacebar, since you want to spacebar and then gain the buff for propulsion, cannot always be applied. It might lead to damage loss. And keep in mind that even though it was like 1% difference, keep in mind that the other engravings, they are permanently up. Yeah, you have always the buff.
right.
But for propulsion, you are forced to spacebar, and it might put you in a really awkward position once you are, for example, doing a mistake and you use your spacebar as a
Wise.
dodge.
Right.
Yeah, and then you use it again, and then there's gonna be like a window where you don't have it, so you would basically
Lose
lose
the
your whole
damage right
engraving.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Super smart.
So it is possible, but it is really risky, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you want to just go, flat more damage, I would recommend this setup. Now you can see my stone is a little bit special here. I have a 9/6 precise dagger cursed doll. Um, I saw a lot of Deadeyes, one of the 5 that is out there. They were all not really going precise dagger. It was really confusing to me. It's really nice to go precise dagger. Why? Because it gives you crit rate. And as I mentioned before, you want, as much crit rate as possible to near the 95% ish, maybe 100 even, but it's always risky to go 100 since you can over crit really easy. So if you're between 92 and 95% crit, it's really good. I had this stone basically prepared already, but I would have cut another one if I could. I would always recommend to go precise dagger with something else here. It really doesn't matter. I think adrenaline is a damage loss unless your weapon is higher. But here, as you can see, grudge gives you 3%. Just look at the first one, like 3% damage. Mass increase is 3% damage, and then curse toll is also 3% damage. So the second choice, it doesn't really matter. On adrenaline, it's attack power increase per stack, but it's only really good if you have a higher weapon, since it scales with your attack power. So now, why do I say go precise dagger? Precise dagger on the stone is really important, in my opinion, since it gives you huge amount of crit rate. Especially in my case, where I have a 9 on it. Even if you have a 6 or 7 on it in your level 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter that much, since it's like still the 3% crit rate you gain. But it's really insane damage increase. Now, why do I say this? If you look at it like this, if you take something else here instead of precise dagger, what do you gain? 3% damage. It is what it is, right? Or in my case, it would be 5% damage. But if you look at my crit rate right now, I have almost 70% crit rate, and my I have 2 points here in quick draw, so 2 more percent here. And this is the standard setup without a crit synergy, yeah? So if you calculate in my own crit synergy here, so my grenade, 10% on this, let's round it up to 70%. So I crit synergy, it's an 80%. And then my adrenaline, 15%. Or like, well, I mean,
95.
if you don't have the crits, if you don't have the books, 94, yeah, or 95. So you are around this 94, 95 area. Perfect. You're gonna do like good damage. You're never gonna see, unless you do a mistake in your rotation, you're never gonna see a white number, and you're gonna deal solid damage. Yeah, really good damage. So as I told you before, you're adapting with your engravings and with your arc passive, right? If there is somehow the case that you're actually having too much crit, or you're a whale and you have all these books, then your whole situation changes. Yeah.
Right.
Um, I can give you an example here. As I told you, I'm not really a whale, even though I have a 25 weapon. I cannot afford all these books. I have been going precise dagger books here to gain a little bit of more crit. I will most likely finish it in like the next 1 month or two to gain another like crit rate or another 1.5% crit here. And then I will slowly maybe go adrenaline. I don't know, but the prices are extreme right now.
Too
But
much, yeah.
if you, in case you have the money and you can get this, yeah, really like obviously small percentage, but adrenaline gives the double amount of crit rate that precise dagger does. Precise dagger gives you with the full books 3% crit rate. Adrenaline gives you 6% crit rate. So these together just give 9% already, and this stone basically would fall off, right? Or you keep the stone and then you adapt in the arc passive tree here.
Yeah, yeah.
So you will just, so let's say I have this one, yeah, 1.5% that I'm missing, and the adrenaline one, it's like 7.5 that I'm missing here, right? I would just remove
Remove
the
all
points
that.
from my keen sense.
Yeah.
I would, the whole crit is useless, and then the
Right.
10% damage, and I would put them just here, GG. I have
More,
the
way
just
more damage.
way more damage. Yeah, it just increases just like that.
20%.
Uh, so this is like a really good class that shows you that even though you don't have the books or you cannot afford them, it's not a problem. You can just adapt, and it's not even that much of a damage loss. Yeah, we are talking here about 10 to 20% difference than you would have, but that is like the highest ceiling you can go. That's about it.
The whale's having fun, huh, guys? Huh? 5 million real quick on books, just on one book.
Just like that, yeah. To the gems. Oh, the gems are there. Gems are very easy. On the gems, you want to have damage gems and cooldown gems on your highest damage skills, which are basically your Desperado is your highest damage skill. Then followed up by Meteor Stream, then Equilibrium. Yeah, if I take out T and Z skill, by the way, I'm just talking about these skills here.
Yeah.
Then it's basically between Cruel Tracker and Quick Shot. They are almost the same damage. It all depends if you're unlucky with the crit or if the boss moves.
The
As you
back attack.
saw, my yeah, and the back attack, but they're both back attack, so it's
Right.
the same. As you see, by the way, I told you I showed you like Quick Shot. When I shoot it, right, I give a debuff on the boss for 3
Right.
seconds. If somehow the debuff runs out,
And then you hit it
or
afterwards.
and you hit it afterwards, that's also like a damage loss, right?
Right.
So I would say overall that the Cruel Tracker is higher than the Quick Shot. And then the last skill that you would take here is your grenades. Yeah, the grenade is perma on the boss. It does solid damage. It's explosion at the end, and it applies your bleed.
Mm.
Uh, I have seen some people ask me, why are you not running damage on your spiral tracker, or why are you not running cooldown on it? At the end of the day, you
You
have
got
3
three.
stacks. You can't. It comes back really fast, and you can just do a if you want like a Trixion test yourself to test it out, like try like more than just 1 minute, try like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, a little bit of a longer fight, so you at least understand that at the end part you lose the damage. If you do a 1 minute parse, some gems might be better than others, right? If you do a guardian that's 30 seconds long, like in my case, my character, my guardians are under 1 minute. So I will most likely just, go there, burst the boss, GG. If the fight is long, obviously you would think that, one gem is better than the other one, but it's all about, testing and seeing that it's not really worth. Yeah, that's about the gems. For the awakening, yeah, by the way, the awakening in hyper skill for Deadeye Pistoleer is no choice. Like basically,
Yeah.
you are forced to go the clay bombardment. Well, you can take the burst flare, but our class engraving buffs this one, the clay
Mm.
bombardment. So you just go this one, and obviously on the T skill, shotgun and sniper also no
Don't
choice
work,
since
right.
you don't have those weapons, right? So that's also very easy. Now to the rotation part.
Let's
Uh,
go.
I would say this class is one of the classes that is really
Super spammy.
spammy and noob friendly, but not in an offensive way, right? So
Yeah.
you can do a lot of mistakes with this and still get away. The basic idea here is
Underrated.
that you apply your grenade always, yeah. So whatever you do, grenade is the first skill. If you are like in some raid and you start walking towards the boss, you can also use your counter. If the boss does a counter, obviously unlucky, but can happen, right? So I will show you quickly like how it would look if I do like one simple rotation, right? So I would start the fight like this. Like this, and then at some point my secret weapon comes up again.
Oh wow.
So what I did here is basically I keep my grenade up on the boss as long as I can. I try to get adrenaline stacks here with my grenade. So I do grenade, then my counter, then I would use like spiral tracker. That one goes on cooldown, does damage. I get an adrenaline stack. Then I do my first helicopter. Then I do my equilibrium to do my judgment here,
Judgment.
so my conviction judgment, right? Now I'm at 5 stacks. Then I cast my secret weapon basically. Then I cast my T skill. Obviously, in this case, my grenade ran out, but usually it's still up. Then I cast my grenade again, helicopter again, spiral tracker on the boss. You always want also a spiral tracker on the boss to get your on hit going. Then you cast your meteor stream here, grenade, helicopter, equilibrium. It's always basically the same. You need to be careful that you cast your Desperado into your Desperado first and then your Equilibrium. I have seen some people play that spam Equilibrium even though your Desperado is not up. I recommend that you basically look out
Wait.
for it and
Yes.
wait with it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
be patient with it. You have a lot of other abilities you can use, right? Yeah, and very important, keep up your adrenaline. Yeah, without adrenaline, you lose damage. You need the 15% crit rate and obviously the attack power. Without the whole attack power and crit rate buff, you are dealing Z damage.
Yeah. That's what was happening to me. Like back in the days, for some reason, I don't know if I didn't have master or what it was, and my Pistoleer felt like, damn, I'm just white numbers. But once you are actually, I was critting, the damage goes up to the moon. It's like it's a
Yeah,
huge difference. I know for a lot of
it's
classes it's the same. Like you want to crit, but for this one, it's really noticeable if you're not critting. Like it's just as
yeah,
bad.
it's not like a deathblade where oh, my sword
Right,
shouldn't crit.
right, right, right. That's what I'm saying.
And this one here really needs to crit everything. The only thing that shouldn't crit is maybe your grenade or your counter. Lol.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's about it about this class. I mean, if you want, I can go over some pros and cons that I wrote down, and then you can ask me some
Yeah,
questions.
that's
I don't
fine.
mind. All right. So obviously, I looked at some other sources here because I wanted to know what other people thought about this. But I think there isn't really like someone who did a proper Deadeye guide. I saw on Lost Ark Nexus that Daniro Kun did
Oh
the
yeah,
Pistolier guide, but he's enhanced weapon player, so I
right,
don't know if
right.
he has 100% knowledge, right?
Yeah,
So
he's really good. I was gonna ask him, but he doesn't play Pistolier, so
yeah, he plays enhanced weapon.
he's
He can
pretty good
explain
too.
fast. Yeah, he's really good. I watch also his streams sometimes, and but I noticed, for example, there was like a pro and con list, right? And in my opinion, there was a lot of stuff, well, missing, I would say. In this game, obviously, what's really a good pro, I would say, on this class is being a crit synergy. It's really desired class. If you are a crit synergy, if you have a war dancer, there's a lot of classes, a lot of meta classes that want crit synergy,
They went out.
like Burger King, Soul Eater, right? Full Moon, for example, top of the classes right now. That wants a crit synergy, and as a Deadeye Pistolier, as a crit synergy, it's really good. As you saw maybe on the gameplay that I provided, not really the best one because we're not really in a raid, but you can catch my streams and see how I go. but this class is very mobile, so getting hit is really rare. This is why maybe you can see I'm also playing with green pots. That's like a running gag that I have. I go
Damn.
into a gate 4 Thermine with a green pot and no time stop.
Damn.
We had like a funny joke with this one, and it somehow worked out. But I will show you later on like maybe a lower class how it looks. Um, this class is very easy to learn, right? As I showed you, like you cannot really do a mistake. All you have to do is keep up your grenade, keep up your adrenaline stacks, and that's it. Then you do your damage. Obviously, the conviction judgment. If you play it, you need to be careful. If you don't play it, it's something else. You can just spam the abilities. All you want to do is keep the adrenaline stacks up. That's it. Uh, One thing I forgot to mention is you mentioned it yourself actually. There is some back attack abilities on this one. It's Let me see. Yeah, it's only the quick shot, the equilibrium, and the cruel tracker. Most of the time, you are trying to get to the back of the boss anyways. It's the safest spot most of the time. But it doesn't really matter if you back attack these or not. It's a little bit of a damage loss, yes, but since these are not really the top damage skills, and with 1680, obviously your secret weapon here is not positional attack. The T skill isn't a positional attack, so your top three damage skills, which make up to 70% of your damage, they are not positional, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's more a mobile class. You always get to the back of the boss, and yeah, another pro is you are really adaptive with the arc passive tree. um, as I showed you, like you have one crit synergy, you change something here. You have another crit synergy, you change something. You can go cooldown reduction if it's a long fight. If it's a short fight, you go limit break. On the Enlightenment tree here, you can also even change something. If you have too much crit, you remove the crit here, you put in damage. On the leap here, even, uh, I am not quite sure if hyper awakening skill damage is worth here, unless it's like a really long fight where hyper would matter, then you go it, or like a super short one where it just comes up to finish the boss, like I don't know, gate 2 Thermine. But this one is like a no-brainer here in this department. And here in the bottom, as you saw, like, do you want to run like Naruto and do mega damage? Then you take this one. And if you go this one, it's like a
Safer.
quick damage, but that's about it, bruh. um, since it's also kind of a hitmaster class, yeah, as I showed you, it really doesn't matter where you position yourself. Um, Maybe some people don't know this, but if you're playing with back attack classes in your party, and you want to provide them damage, not only with your crit synergy, try to be maybe on the side or on the front, so they don't basically get annoyed by the boss turning all of a sudden, because you're also in the back, since you're not necessarily a back attacker. That's not only on Deadeye, but that's what I noticed when playing with back attackers. They were like, "Yo, bro." No.
That's a non-selfish thought right there. That's actually
Yeah.
giga chat, bro.
I also saw one of the con points
Inteligente.
here that made this class, apparently this class has mana problems.
Awesome.
Uh, you only have mana problems with this if you're not running instant spell for your T skill. After 2 rotations, you will be out of mana almost. Yeah, really terrible, by the way, if you're out of mana. At some point, your adrenaline runs out. You cannot cast anything. GG. Um, Other than that, there's no way you run out of mana, like unless your support is AFK, having like 40% uptime, whatever. But I haven't had any mana problems so far. So I have not seen anything about that part. Uh, and I saw a lot of people also ask me, do you recommend this class for a newer player, or should I make this class? And I always answer them, this class is very easy. You can make it, no difficulty learning this. But as soon as you are in a lobby with people that know how to play or playing like hyper skills, I mean like hyper meta classes, then you're gonna get gapped. Yeah, I'm sorry, but like you have to accept the position of this class. It's a very good class if you're progging, but if you're re-clearing, you will notice that certain classes, especially the burst classes, obviously when you know the fight, they are gonna overtake you very easily. Yeah. So the high end isn't really there with this class, but I would say that ceiling is not everything, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
For the oh, I forgot to mention this, but it doesn't really matter, I think. Yeah. For people that are in the transition to Arc passive, it's really important that you go with, let me show you, with 2 pieces minimum. You cannot go with 1 piece. I tried it. Don't do it. With 1 piece, you're gonna have like 1 row here, right? And you're gonna miss out 12% crit, even if you put like all the points here in keen sense. The other point you cannot really do anything with it. And
You wanna
I
get to that
just
node.
yeah,
Row.
you really want this third row node here,
Yes,
and
2%.
then you're gonna have this setup. I can show you real quick. I have 3 dead eyes, so I
Damn.
can show you on this one in this how it looks in this case. But with 1 piece, it's really terrible. It's definitely a damage loss. I'm like at 80% crit rate, which is obviously just straight up damage loss. So for the people that are wondering, go with 2 pieces.
That's good to know too, because sometimes you see people with the art passive and they have no pieces. Like, bro, what you doing? I don't know if every class is like that, but I guess at least one or two pieces on class is mandatory. Sometimes
Yeah.
3 pieces.
So as you can see here with 2 pieces, you can go this build here, which basically replicates your hallucination set that you had before, right? The crit rate and the damage. Yeah, this is how you go. If I'm not mistaken, if you don't have another piece, how would it look actually? Like this?
Mommy.
Okay, no, I cannot show it actually. Never mind. It would be like some points from this, but just go with 2 pieces. The only way you can go this, by the way, with 1 piece, there is a way to do it, but it's really annoying. Is if you have a master elixir, but master elixir is useless once you have 1 more piece. You will go critical elixir. So
Ah.
unless you are super duper lucky and can go both or have both on your character, you can do it. But other than that, there is no other way of going 1 piece arc passive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought I was running critical, but for some reason it was lacking of my crit, and then I was like kind of sad. I think I went with master early on because, like you said, if you don't crit, it's so sad.
Yeah, like you can imagine hitting for 0 at this point when you don't
Yeah.
crit. It's like GG. Now, what I forgot to show you on the tripod actually, but I had to go on this character, for example, to show it. You see, there is one difference here.
Right.
I have
The
no
skill.
more
Yes.
spiral tracker.
Yeah, that's what I
I
have.
I have Deathfire. So
Yeah.
Deathfire is a little bit of a special one.
Yeah.
Um, this is a bit complicated. When you are not playing Raid Captain, you would play this skill. If you played Raid Captain back in the day with your engravings, right, with your old engravings, you would have gone Spiral Tracker and Quick Base here, right?
Right.
Now, if you're not playing
Great cap.
Raid Captain, and if you are not 1680 yet, you don't have your secret weapon, so you don't really need on hit. So you take something that does more damage than your spiral trackers in this case. And for me, it was the Deathfire. Deathfire skill is really like no brainer here. What you take, you can take the Infiltrate Decimation. This one basically makes the skill like a jump and a hold skill where you can like let go in this perfect zone. If you take the tenacity, you don't have this dash. You're just gonna be. Let me go to training ground so I have
You know,
cooldowns.
now that it finally click on me on hit, the reason why it's on hit is because the on hit will reset the cooldown on the thingy, right? On your
Yeah.
skill. Oh my god, that's the reason why you change it.
So
I was trying
you
to
can do
figure out
this
why
one.
is it that people change it. The more hit you do, the faster you're gonna get that
Exactly.
skill.
Yeah. All about your Z skill efficiency, So yeah, if you don't have your secret weapon,
Right.
you can use this skill. Basically, it's very easy skill. The first tripod that I showed you here, yeah, the Deathfire, the decimation one, is basically making you do a dash, and you can cancel the skill. So what do I mean with cancel? Look, I do this, I can walk, right? Now, if I take the other variant, there is two other. My God, where is it? Yeah, there is two other ones. You can take the Swift Finger one, then it would look like this. No dash, and I can cancel it, right? But it's a little bit faster. Or I take the Tenacity one, like this. And then you are basically, while you're casting like this, this was, for example, recommended when you were progging Gate 4 Thamine on
Right.
the
For the
stagger
hands, huh?
phase. Exactly, for the hands. You can just survive this one with this ability. So obviously you don't want to tank too much hands, but just for one wave you can use this one. Very easy to survive. I personally didn't use it. I just used the decimation one for the dodge because I didn't feel safe in any other case.
Right.
Obviously, like certain bosses, if you're on level, they do a lot of damage, and tanking with a Deadeye is not recommended. Yeah, like I think, yeah, as the gun, as one of the
Yeah.
gunner
You're
classes,
not a berserker,
we, yeah,
right?
I think we are after Reaper with the defense. Actually, we are freaking paper guys. If they hit us, we are goodbye. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, the other skills here, you take the chain throw. Frost bomb is less damage, and the fire bomb is technically more damage than the chain throw. But I take the double explosion here for my spacebar, yeah, for the multi hit. And here on the other row, wait, no, this one, wait. Man, I have difficulties finding this ability, bro. There. Okay, and then here on this one, you take the keen shot. This is the damage one, and this one is just for Chaos Dungeon, yeah? So this version you would play if you are not 1680 yet, and once you hit 1680, you swap to Spiral Tracker, which in the end of the day,
That's
with
big to
this
know,
with the weapon
big to know.
is huge. Yeah, yeah. I have 3 dead eyes.
That's amazing. Real main. Can I ask you something before we end this? So
Sure,
can you go over the space bar with the rotation? The
sure thing.
you know I don't
Well,
think
it's very important that you keep the spacebar
buff, right?
for your big skills. So what is the big skills? It's your Z skill, it's your T skill, and it's your Desperado. Yeah, as I told you, together they are basically like 70, maybe even like 80%
Okay.
of your damage. So you don't just brainlessly spam your spacebar, just to do your synergy skill or something like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
But
Wow.
sometimes
Big, big.
yes, sometimes you really need to be patient with the spacebar, and just some abilities don't have the buff. Then it is what it is.
I used to use the space bar because with any other skill too because because I thought that having it up all the time was the key, but
hmm But you just
it,
have to understand what it does. For example, it gives you a cooldown and attack speed, movement speed, right?
I
So you have these abilities. For example, this one,
right,
you can technically just cancel it if you want to walk out and then not cast it. It is what it is, right? Instead
right,
of using space, you just walk. Same as this one, the cool tracker. Oh, you shoot once and then you walk. You don't have to shoot twice. Maybe only on the equilibrium or on the other ones, but this one really fast. Okay, now let me remove quickly this one. Okay, so I'm gonna give myself a little bit of attack speed here, so I don't feel like I'm not without a sub. Yeah, this should be fine. So basic rotation, let's say I start here, the fight starts, and I start doing this. Spacebar, equilibrium for the judgment. Okay, now I did like a little bit of a mistake, but doesn't matter, and then I just keep casting like this. Yeah, would be like this. This is like obviously with all
Okay,
the
you see,
support I have
that's
next to
huge.
the
That's
wall.
huge. This is what I wanted to see. Okay, so you
Yes.
waited. You waited.
Yeah,
You
exactly. Like
waited
I
a
did a
little
little
bit.
bit. I did a little bit of a mistake there using Meteor Stream before my secret weapon, but since it was still in the window, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's really just important that once you spacebar, you want to get the Z out, you want to get at least the helicopter out, and you want to get the T skill out. Yeah,
Okay.
and not to forget that you have already, critted, grenaded the boss for the crit.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
like basically the simple rotation.
Damn. That's huge, guys. W is in the chat. W is in the chat. Anybody has any questions? Damn. Pistoleer. It's a rare species, guys. Not a lot of people play Pistoleer. I know that a lot of people play enhanced weapon, but I wanted to cover this one especially for the fact that not a lot of people play it. And then, there's not that many information about this one. It's like playing as summoner where you play the other one, not the one.
Enhanced weapon one, yeah.
Yeah. Why is that I glow so small?
Listen, guys, I didn't have a choice, okay? I don't even have a skin glow that makes it bigger. That's the sad part.
Damn, bro. Well, brother, thank you so much. Thank you for taking
Yeah,
time and showing us the way. I
yeah,
appreciate you,
thank
brother.
you. Appreciate the invitation, yeah.
No problem. Anytime, if you have any projects in the future, you can come with me.
Definitely, definitely.
All right. Well, much love. Thank you so much. And I'll see you
Yeah,
around, man.
muchas gracias.
No problem, brother.
See ya.
GG's. Yeesh. Nice. Now for enhanced weapon, guys, I can get like 1,000,000,000 enhanced weapon. But maybe Danny, the right person for it. Because enhanced weapon, everybody play enhanced weapon. Pistoleer. Farid, thank you so much for the follow. He know his stuff, indeed, my lord. I mean, that's his baby, yeah. You can tell they passionate about their class. Damn, got it. I was wondering on many things, and they got answered in that interview. Play every class, papi. I gotta know everything, baby. Crazy.